guys, today is an exciting day. Welcome to the Hobby Garage. If this is your first time, thanks for tuning in. Got some exciting news for the Raminator. You haven't seen it on the channel in a while because the engine has been getting rebuilt. So sent this out to OBR. This was the 47 Reed out of my Losi 5T. It's been repurposed. It's going in the Ram, and we're going to take a peek at it. This is their mount kit to mount the 47 into the Ram. Oh yeah. So I ended up sucking in a lot of sand last time I had this thing out. So completely rebuilt it, new reeds, new clutch, new top end. And as you can see, this has the cutout in it because this was originally in my 5T. So, all right, there is more in this package. Now here's the exciting part. At least there should be more in here, but there's not. Not good. Hold on. All right, so I'm waiting for the header to come back in, and I'll explain that after, but for now, what I'm going to do is get the motor mounted up. This is the Turtle Racing mount kit to get the 47 or 46 mounted into your Raminator. There's no instructions for this, but I'll take pictures and videos as I go. Some things I know you're going to need. You need to take off the Easy Start and install a standard CY Zenoa pull start. You need to get this adapter piece from DDM. This is in order to make this pull start work. And you'll see once the motor's installed that the reason for that is clearance issues on this plate over here. So you need to get a standard pull start and the adapter. So I'm gonna start off, I'll do this off camera, but when we get these two pieces mounted, these are gonna replace these bars right here. And then the bar, the rear engine mount goes right there. So let me get these changed and then I'll... All right, now that I'm a little deeper into this, you guys can see the L bracket mounts to the transmission and then through the rear motor mount. And one thing to take note of when you're installing these rods here, there's a flat spot. The flat spot goes on the bottom and not on the top. I had to swap that around, so that's where it's currently at. And you can see I've got the standard pull start on there. So as you can see, I had a fitment issue here. I had to machine out 20 thousandths of an inch to get this piece to fit. Hopefully this will be corrected and nobody else will have that issue. And then here I needed to add 100 thousandths of an inch shims because for some reason the plate didn't touch the motor. Okay, now that we got the engine mounted into the Ram, next is to do the carburetor. In the kit is this piece here. So I originally had a non-machined case that this was the bracket that you'd use. So if you were to use a GP 460, this would be your throttle mounting point. OBR kit, you get this piece. And so what you do, you actually remove your diaphragm and your fuel return. You lose your primer bulb and your fuel return. And then this piece goes on. And so the throttle cable will be routed up through here and into the carb. So one thing, it's a little bit frustrating on this kit, and this will be in my feedback to OBR, is that there was no bolts included in this kit. So I apologize. I had the bolts here, so it wasn't a huge deal, but I did not keep track of what size bolts you would actually need. Here's the original bolts for the carburetor when it had the primer bulb and this piece in, and you need to get a bolt. This is a machine thread screw, not a fine or a coarse, but it needs to be approximately 3/8 of an inch shorter than what is standard with this. So keep that in mind when you're doing this kit, that unless they start including bolts, you need to source this stuff. So I'm going to be running a DT1 filter Here's the piece to connect it to. I'm going to go get this mounted off camera and show you what it looks like. And I was originally going to try to run a Baja filter, but unfortunately it hits the gas tank, so I can't go that route. So I'm going to go get this mounted and we'll take a peek. The throttle cable. To get the best function out of this, so it's nice and smooth, I had to shorten it. So that's what the tape measure here is for. I cut this down using a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel. It's approximately 8 1/4 inches long. So I'll show you that too. Sorry about the rock. Okay, there she is mounted up. The throttle actuation is nice and smooth. Yes, I know my air filter is just sitting there. I need to put the ring on it and my outerwear, but I wanted you guys to see what it looked like, the clearance. So some things I had to do to get this set up to work. So this is the stock pipe with a custom-made header. OBR has had their hands on this, made some sort of 3D mold from my understanding, and hopefully we'll have a header in production so you guys can buy this kit, use the stock pipe. It's not exactly that straightforward though, unfortunately. I did have to lower my gas tank and made a shim. So I had to lower this bar quite a bit, put a shim in here, and then that gave clearance for the pipe. At this hole, you'll have to drill. And then lastly, stinger, you can see I did change the direction. So you could, in theory, just cut the stinger off right at that weld right there and just have it dump straight out. I just happened to have somebody who was kind enough to weld that back to that point for me. So so yeah, that's it. Hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on this header piece soon and get a legit spring instead of a stretched out clutch spring, but for now that's what I got. So you can see there's the throttle mount kit. Nice piece. That 8 1/4. Plenty of clearance. There it is. So I'm just about ready to fire this thing up. Oh, and one other thing that you got to keep in mind when you get rid of the return. So on this gas tank setup, I had a separate vent. And then here's, well, I thought this should have been the feed. It turns out this is the return. So what I'm going to do, because I have a LoC 5 tank, is put in a 2-port grommet. I'll have my feed, and then for my return, I'm just going to put this vent back in. So the return is going to be eliminated altogether. The install's done. Air filter is on. Feed is in. Got my vent. Everything seems to be good. Let's hear what it sounds like. All right. I did go around the lawn a little bit. I didn't do that on video, but sounds way different with this Reed case motor than it did when I had a standard GP460 with the full mod top end. So I'll be curious to see how it rips. Really excited to get a bigger header in here. I think that's going to make a big difference on how this thing is going to perform, but I have high hopes for it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on the install or, you know, the setup. Again, hopefully that'll be in soon, and this will be more of a drop-in system. I do have an email into Dan and Sean in regards to the install and why I needed to use shims and do a little machine work to make the bracket work. So when I get answers on that, I'll come back and put it in the description or mention it in my next running video. So I'm going to get this broken in hopefully this weekend and be able to get some footage out as soon as possible. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you later.